Stay alert. August may appear calm on the surface, but beneath its quiet skies lies a hidden storm crafted to test the strength of the chosen ones, and you might be in its direct path. While the world moves through this month, like it's just another page on the calendar, you feel something different, because you're not like most people, and this August isn't ordinary. It's a quiet funnel, pulling energy from the collective, amplifying spiritual pressure, and silently watching to see who will rise and who will break. The truth is, you're being studied, not by people, but by forces that only show up when the field is loud enough for them to slip through. And August is loud, impulsive, distracted, the perfect cover. They want you triggered, they want you reactive, and most of all, they want you talking too much. But what's coming mid-month isn't just about secrecy anymore. It's about recognizing something far more dangerous. This month, your voice can either shield you or summon what you're not ready for. Let's get one thing clear. Going quiet isn't the same as going invisible. This isn't about shutting people out. It's about becoming unreadable. In August, some energies will come wearing light, soft voices, spiritual language, a calm face. But their mission, extraction. They want your truth, your insight, your energy, not to connect, but to siphon. That's why the ones who overshare, over-explain, and post their every revelation online, they're already leaking, spiritually wide open. And in August, wide open means wide vulnerable. So, here's the move. Refine your circle. Protect your rituals. Keep your insights sacred. Not everything holy has to be spoken. Not every lesson is meant to be uploaded. You don't need to ghost the world. You just need to know who's earning access and who's just disguising hunger as curiosity. There is something sacred about what you've made it through. The betrayals, the near breakdowns, the invisible battles you had to fight alone. They weren't just experiences, they were initiations. And in August, those past initiations are being scanned. The mistake most people make this month is talking too much about what they've survived. It feels harmless, even empowering, telling someone how far you've come, the darkness you've faced, the strength you've earned. But in this current energetic climate, that kind of sharing acts like a beacon. You're not just telling your story, you're summoning its frequency, because August is a mimic. It wants to drag your healed wounds back into the spotlight to see how deeply they've really closed. It will recreate the same emotional tests, just wearing different names and faces. And when you talk too freely about what almost destroyed you, the energy hears it as an invitation. It goes, this is still alive in them. Let's try again. Not everything you've survived is meant to be retold. Some victories only remain victories if you leave them buried in silence. This month isn't about showcasing your scars. It's about protecting the power they gave you. You didn't crawl through fire just to turn your transformation into small talk or spiritual content for others to consume. So if you feel the urge to share, pause. Ask yourself, is this for healing, or am I leaking power for the sake of being understood? Because in August, every word you speak about your past survival echoes into the present and either reinforces your boundaries or dissolves them. Your survival is a weapon, not a confession. August doesn't always knock on your door. Sometimes it knocks through other people's mouths. This is not the month to talk about who you've removed from your life. Not your ex, not that fake friend, not the relative who drained you dry. The moment you speak their name, even casually, you reconnect the cord. And the truth is, not all entities need your permission to re-enter. Sometimes they just need your attention. You might think you're just venting or reflecting, but on a spiritual level, you're engaging with that tie again. You're reactivating a path that was finally closed. And August, being what it is, a magnet for chaos cloaked in light, is full of what I call cord hunters. These are energies that don't need your body. They want your memory, your voice, a piece of your focus, and talking about someone you've energetically cut off. That's enough to pull them right back in. The more you speak on the severed, the more you sew it back together. It doesn't matter if you're right, or if your reasons were valid. It doesn't matter if they were toxic, if they wronged you, or if you just want to process it one last time. August is not offering neutrality. It's offering traps, disguised as healing. Let your disconnection exist in silence. That silence is not avoidance, it's armor. Who you no longer speak to is sacred, but who you no longer speak about, that's power. If someone tries to bring them up, change the subject. If the thought creeps in while you're alone, don't wrestle with it. Let it pass like smoke. You don't owe the past your voice, especially when your future is listening so closely. And make no mistake, something is listening. What was meant for you wasn't meant for everyone's ears. If you've received something recently, a dream that jolted you awake, a vision that felt too clear to be coincidence, a message that seemed to arrive from nowhere but hit you like lightning, seal it. Not forever, but for now. August is not the month to pour your revelations into the world. This energy is twisting, hungry, and watching. When you speak what hasn't yet rooted itself in reality, it becomes vulnerable, malleable, distorted. You might think you're sharing truth, but what you're really doing is offering it up to be mimicked or corrupted. There are forces right now that imitate insight. They mimic the voice of spirit, the tone of intuition, the shape of light. And when you share too soon, you invite them to copy, twist, and repurpose your truth, until it no longer even feels like it came from you. You don't need outside validation to confirm what was shown to you. Not all prophecy is meant to be spoken before it breathes. And if you speak too early, you might find yourself watching your own vision fall apart before your eyes. Not because it was wrong, but because it was prematurely exposed. Hold the vision, tend to it, let it germinate in silence. Because what Spirit gave you was not just information, it was permission. Permission to act, not permission to announce. And right now, acting quietly is more powerful than speaking loudly. Because in August, the more sacred your silence, the louder your reality will speak for you. When light shines too soon, it casts unnecessary shadows. August is going to bring little wins, maybe a sudden breakthrough, unexpected peace, recognition from someone who finally sees your worth. It'll feel good, and it should, but it's exactly when it feels safe to celebrate out loud that you need to be most careful. This month comes with an invisible bait, the need to prove, to show you're evolving, to declare your glow up, to flex your elevation, so nobody forgets who you are now. But here's the hidden truth. Bragging this month opens energetic doors you do not want open, because when you declare too much too soon, you call in watchers, and not just physical ones. We're talking about spiritual eavesdroppers, beings, entities, and even unconscious people around you who don't mean to drain you, but will. Power doesn't always move in silence because it's shy. It moves in silence because it knows it's being observed. You're not being paranoid, you're being fortified. Not every win is meant to be shared immediately, and not everyone around you wants to see you win without cost. This month, ego will dress up like confidence. It will whisper things like, you deserve to be seen, and you do, but not like this. You're in a season of spiritual scaffolding. The building is rising, but the structure's still exposed. Show too much, and the wrong eyes might start tugging at the framework before it's even finished. So let others talk, let them announce, let them post. Your silence isn't weakness, it's the sound of your foundation getting stronger, because what you're building isn't for temporary applause, it's for permanent positioning. And you don't climb into legacy by narrating every single step. One of the most dangerous things you'll face this August won't look like an attack. It'll feel like a connection. You'll notice it creeping into your conversations, especially with people who suddenly seem more emotionally open than they've ever been. These people, some familiar, some new, will start sharing deeper stories. They'll get vulnerable. They'll express spiritual confusion. They'll say things that eerily align with your own path. And just when your guard starts to drop, they'll begin asking the kinds of questions that feel innocent, but go straight for your spiritual core. It'll start softly. I just really feel safe with you. You're one of the few people I can talk to about this. Or the classic, I've never met someone who just gets it the way you do. But these aren't compliments. These are pressure points. These interactions are confidence traps, subtle setups designed to trigger your urge to share, explain, or expose yourself under the illusion of intimacy. It doesn't matter if the other person knows they're doing it or not. Energetically, they're being used as a channel to pull data from your field. The more you explain your beliefs, the more you give away your rituals, your practices, your sacred insights, the more you're bleeding your essence into a space that cannot hold it. These are not always signs that you're being admired. Often they're signs you're being studied. You're being tested to see if you can hold sacred knowledge without needing to validate it through other people's reactions. August is the month where false vulnerability becomes a strategy, and if you aren't discerning, you'll confuse mirroring for connection. People will reflect your words, your values, even your pain. But if they didn't earn that insight, it's not resonance, it's mimicry. This is the real trap for chosen ones, the longing to be seen. It's been with you for years, that ache to finally meet someone who gets it, who speaks your language. That hunger is what these energies are baiting. They're not offering you healing, they're offering you a setup. And once you start revealing, once you spill what's sacred, once you start unpacking the spiritual codes you fought to uncover in silence, they don't need to do anything else. You've already handed them the blueprint.
You don't need to isolate this month, but you do need to withhold with wisdom. You can be kind, you can be present, you can even listen. But don't confuse a warm conversation for a safe one. Don't confuse spiritual curiosity for spiritual compatibility. Some people are just there to record, and by the time you realize it, they've already taken what they came for. There's a strange kind of pressure in August. Not the loud, obvious kind that knocks you off balance, but a quieter, subtler force that follows you from room to room. It's in the lingering stares, the random people who suddenly seem interested in your energy, the increase in messages or coincidental reconnections. You didn't ask for attention, yet somehow you're attracting it. And while some of it may seem flattering or well-meaning, beneath the surface, something deeper is unfolding. This month acts like a spiritual spotlight. Whether you realize it or not, you're being scanned, observed, assessed. There's a reason this is happening. The energetic intensity of August is amplifying the frequencies of chosen ones. You're vibrating louder, whether you speak or not. You might be saying less, posting less, even showing up less, and still, people are picking up on you. Some of them are drawn in by the light. Others are drawn in by what they think they can extract from it. That's why this month is not just about energy management. It's about energy misdirection. You're going to be noticed. That part is inevitable. What matters is what they think they're noticing. Are they seeing the real you, or the version you allowed them to see? Because, here's the truth. Being mysterious is no longer a vibe. It's a requirement. You are being read, and not just by people. There are entities, frequencies, even subconscious archetypes operating through people, trying to figure out how to get back into your field. They don't come at you directly. They come through compliments, curiosity, admiration. They show up in the form of conversations that seem spiritual but are actually surveillance. Someone might ask, what book changed your life? What do you do to keep your energy so clear? Or worse, can you teach me how to do what you do? It's easy to get pulled into this.
You want to help. You want to be open. You want to share what worked. But in August, sharing too much is the same as leaving your house unlocked, with the lights on and the door wide open. And guess what? Something's already circling the block. This month, your test is learning to stay grounded and generous while staying unreadable and untouchable. You'll need to master the art of moving with power that's unspoken, unseen, and undetectable to anyone not authorized to access it. When people press too hard or look too deeply, resist the urge to explain yourself. They're not all bad, but they don't all belong in your space either. Don't feed the curiosity. Don't reward the attention. Be present but unpredictable. Be available but unrevealing. Be visible but never traceable. And if you ever wonder, why does it feel like I'm being watched this month? The answer is simple. Because you are. But the ones who thrive in August won't be the ones who shout the loudest. They'll be the ones who knew how to be the loudest without making a sound. Breaking your silence can break your shield. There's something you've recently promised yourself, a private, internal vow. It might have come after a painful realization, a moment of deep clarity, or a feeling that hit so hard you knew something in your life had to end. Maybe it was a promise to stop trusting someone who's burned you before. Maybe it was a line you drew to finally close the chapter on a self-destructive cycle you swore you'd never repeat. Whatever it was, you didn't just think it. You felt it like a contract with the divine, a vow etched not in words, but in energy, a vow that doesn't need witnesses. And that's exactly why you can't speak it aloud. Now, August is the month of temptation disguised as coincidence. You might find old situations reappearing, old names resurfacing, even old cravings poking at you, just to see if you flinch. That's not random. That's the test. Speaking your vow, even just casually, invites those old patterns to rise again and play games with your conviction. There's a strange law at play this month. The second you give voice to what you've sworn to leave behind, you make it think it still has a place in your life. Some people around you won't get this. They'll ask what's wrong, why you've changed, why you seem colder or more withdrawn. They'll want answers. But remember, you're not here to justify your growth to those still addicted to your old version. Let your silence speak. Let your decisions reinforce the vow. When you say less, the universe listens more. August doesn't want your words, it wants your proof, so give it that. Quietly, powerfully, without needing anyone to clap for your healing. And as for that thing you swore never to do again, if you really meant it, don't name it. Live it. Your intuition doesn't owe the world an explanation. You might feel yourself hesitating lately, pulling away from something that, on the surface, looks good. Maybe it's a person you used to trust, a community you once relied on, or an opportunity that looks like it's aligned. But deep down, something in you is saying, no, people will notice. They might even start asking questions. Why aren't you showing up like before? Why did you change your mind? Why are you being distant? Don't explain. Don't fill the silence with justifications. The real reason you're pulling back probably isn't logical anyway. It's energetic. And August is not the time to defend your spirit's decisions to people who only listen with their ego. There are energies floating around right now that thrive on confusion. They want you to doubt yourself just enough to open the door again. They want your reasons, because if they can get you talking, they can start unraveling you. But you don't owe them access to the deeper truth. Silence doesn't mean you don't know. It means you know too much to say it out loud. Whatever you're backing away from, trust that it's for a reason even your conscious mind might not fully grasp yet. Spirit is 10 steps ahead this month, and sometimes it tells you to pause, retreat, or stay still, not because you're missing out, but because what's ahead would have drained you dry. This is spiritual maturity. Being able to keep your clarity sacred. Being able to protect the why behind your choices without needing validation. You don't have to make sense to anyone right now. You just have to stay aligned with what your spirit already told you in private. And if the question keeps coming, smile, nod, say less. The ones who need to know already feel it. The rest were never supposed to. Not everyone who glows is golden, and not everyone who's quiet is asleep. August isn't arriving to give you peace. It's coming to test your containment, your discernment, your discipline, your ability to carry light without leaking it. You're not meant to have all the answers next month. You're meant to endure the pressure without breaking alignment. Because the answers, they come in September. September isn't just the aftershock, it's the reveal. Every word you speak in August, every insight you share, every boundary you hold or betray, it all plants something. And in September, those seeds will bear fruit. The energetic contracts signed in silence or spilled out through oversharing will begin to manifest. For some, that harvest will taste like spiritual gold. For others, it'll be bitter and confusing because they gave away what they were supposed to guard. September doesn't reward who was loud. It reveals who was loyal. The ones who couldn't stop talking, who leaked sacred insight just to be seen, who used spiritual knowledge as currency instead of protection. They won't necessarily disappear in the physical world, but their resonance will drop. Their signal won't feel clean anymore. Something in their energy will feel thin, stretched, exposed, because once the veil lifts in September, words won't matter anymore. Frequency will. It won't matter what you posted. It won't matter how convincing your message sounded. The field will measure what you withstood, not what you performed. That's why silence was never weakness. It was encryption. Distance wasn't coldness. It was sacred architecture. And while August does its chaotic dance, those who stay quiet will be constructing something invisible, but indestructible. When September lands, the lights go up, the stage is set, and suddenly, everything becomes obvious. And those who sold out, who cracked under pressure, who couldn't resist leaking for attention, they'll try to spin it. They'll try to re-enter the field like nothing happened. But your spirit will know. You didn't survive August to doubt yourself in September. If you stay quiet, you won't be behind. You'll be ahead. If you withhold, you won't be losing. You'll be preserving. And if you feel the pull to speak and choose stillness instead, that will be the passcode to the next level. But the real choice is coming. Because when the shift begins in early September, a new kind of pressure will surface, not just to protect your light, but to lead with it.